Okay, so today we're talking about phase three in the aviation marketing plan or aviation marketing system. And phase three covers referrals, resales, and recaptures. And this is one of the most ignored but most profitable phases, so it's one of our favorites to talk about. So I'm Paula Williams,
And I'm John Wood,
and we are
ABCI, and we help you guys sell everything from airplanes to nuts and bolts, maintenance, whatever you got.
training software, whatever, yeah, anything in the aviation industry is what we help with. So phase three includes repeat sales. You want to be growing a community of people who buy your product. You want to make your sales cycles faster. You want return visitors to your website, more traffic on all your social media platforms. You want to reduce your expenses by selling more to people who are already in your marketing system, and you want better communication with your customers. So those are really the goals of a good phase three in your marketing system. So common symptoms of phase three problems. I lost a customer to a competitor, but I don't know why. My product is better.
Of course it is.
Exactly. Sometimes we lose customers uh, just because a competitor was more aggressive or answered your customers' questions better or was more clear about what their product does and doesn't do. So it could be that your product is better, but you didn't do a good enough job of communicating that to your customer. So we'll show you some things that you can do to make that happen. Another symptom of a phase three problem, I have to work hard for each sale, even with established customers. So if they're making you go through a bidding process, if they are putting you through the mill every single time you make a sale, it's possible that you haven't yet established enough credibility with that person or with that organization, and you don't have a deep enough or wide enough network in that organization to um, get to the point of being a trusted entity. So we'll show you some ways to improve that relationship. Another symptom, my customers seem happy, but they never give me testimonials.
People never give you anything you don't ask for.
That's true. And another one is I don't get many referrals. Same problem. I don't like to ask for them. We'll show you some ways that are less awkward than the usual, just walking up and asking, which some people are not comfortable with. But, if you've established a good system, then you can let the system work for you, and it does a lot of that work. But you do need to ask for those testimonials and the referrals. It's just a matter of how you do it that can make it less awkward and obnoxious for everybody involved. So show you where this fits in the marketing system. Phase one, of course, is advertising and prospecting. Phase two, building credibility and closing sales. Phase three, referrals, resells, and recaptures. So you can see it starts, and let me zoom in on this. It starts when you make a sale. So, the very first thing that happens is you make a sale, and that is not the end of a marketing process. That's actually the beginning of your phase three. And we've said before that phase three can be your most profitable part of your marketing system. So, what are some of the things that you can do? We'll be talking about these things in more detail. But new customer package. Even if that's just the documentation, the invoices, the warranty information, all of that other stuff. You should work on making that more inviting and more explanatory and, improving that experience. Customer satisfaction surveys, you should be doing those on a fairly regular basis with your existing customers. Follow-up calls and testimonial requests. We'll show you how to make those in a way that is connected to your customer satisfaction survey so that it's a little less awkward. Thank you gifts. We send gifts at Thanksgiving. And we also do customer appreciation events, which is a whole other topic all by itself. Referral incentive packages, those can be formal or informal. At least at a minimum, make sure you send a thank you card or a gift basket or something like that to someone that gets you a referral. Whether or not it works out, right? Because it's not their fault if the deal doesn't go through.
That's right. They did what you asked them to do and gave you a
And that is behavior you want to reward and keep them doing it. This doesn't have to be weekly, but you should be sending regular emails. This is an example from a client plan that we did. Monthly printed newsletters, and we squished this in for space. Monthly printed newsletters and social media conversations, those should be happening on a regular basis. Greeting cards, you may do that for birthdays, anniversaries, and other kinds of things. And direct mail promotions of things that they are not currently buying or that they seem to be up for renewal for. So all of those things could be happening in your phase 3. Your results may vary. You need to adapt this to the product or service that you're selling. But I think it's fair to say that almost every aviation company could be doing more in their phase 3, and that adds to those repeat sales, which is really where the money is in the aviation industry, is those repeat sales with trusted entities.
Yeah, because there's fewer expenses to get it.
Exactly. Well, fewer expenses to get it, and also people are more likely to buy more and to refer other customers and so on if they are already your customers. All right, so let's talk about new customer packages. This is one that you got with your brand new baby airplane out of the factory from Cessna.
Yes, I did. Not only that, but a 3-day indoctrination to new avionics and an acceptance test flight.
Right. Now, everything that we're suggesting here in phase 3 depends pretty heavily on your customer lifetime value, the size of the transaction, and other things to figure out how much you can spend on these things. But you had just spent quite a bit of money on a brand new baby airplane, and you can see the baby pictures in the background, just rolling off the factory floor and being handed the keys by the salesperson there. They also included, some polish and cleaners, some of the things that people first want to do when they get a new anything is to, what are the first things that they're going to want to do with that? The first thing they're going to want to do is show it off to their friends. So you want to make sure that they've got everything that you need to do that. Now, most people are probably going to put these pictures in their office and talk about them with their colleagues, which of course is great advertising for Cessna. And it really doesn't cost that much more to do that little package of pictures. But it certainly gives them a great opportunity to showcase their product. They also gave you a card with your customer service numbers and everything so that you knew exactly what to do. If you had
people I can call
mm-hmm.
if they have questions or maintenance issues.
And I think everybody should be doing that. They should get some kind of a card from you so that they know how to get hold of you if they have a problem. That's just good customer service.
And I used it. I had questions for 6 months and things came up that I had questions on. Okay.
Absolutely. A flashlight, a really nice key ring, other kinds of things, just to kind of make that new airplane smell last a little bit longer or that new airplane experience just a little bit nicer. All right, so customer satisfaction survey. We like to add a couple of questions to a customer satisfaction survey to make those referrals and testimonials easier. The first one, of course, is how likely is it that you would recommend ABCI to a friend or colleague? And you're only seeing half the page here. This actually goes to 10. But, if somebody selects 8, 9, or 10 on this survey, then they're getting a phone call from me saying, hi there, you mentioned that, ABCI, or you may want to, you may have a friend or colleague that could use our services. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? So, that's a really good way to kind of lead into that question so that you're not calling cold and asking for referrals and testimonials. Of course, we also leave a space for comments, and we include this, this space here so that they can write in questions, comments, or concerns. And a lot of times people will write very nice things in these customer satisfaction surveys. John, you do this with our the people that do our printing, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
They do an outstanding job. They're high quality, and they care. They put personal care into everything that they do for us.
And did they know that before you filled out that questionnaire? Or is that something that you generally said to them, or anything else? Or was this just the first opportunity you had to mention that?
That's the first time I actually said it in those words.
Exactly. So even if somebody loves your product or service, they're not going to put that into any form you can use as a testimonial unless you ask them to. And this is a really great way to ask them without asking them, essentially. And then, maybe use your comments and remarks in our marketing materials. And of course, you're going to use the good ones. The bad ones, you're going to solve the problem. But that's also good information. Right. Okay. So let's talk about referral incentive packages. This is one from Tanis, which is one of our clients. And they have a bounty program for mechanics who are, working on piston or turbine aircraft flying in the northern states or Canada without a preheat system, because they have a pretty good um, feeling that somebody who is flying in the northern states or Canada without a preheat system probably doesn't know or doesn't yet know that they should have one and may not know the benefits of having one. So that's a really good prospect for Tanis, and they can tell them all of the great things that a preheat system does. It saves their engine wear and tear. It makes the warm-up time a lot less. All of those things that the mechanic can then share with the customer. So, this is kind of a B2B bounty system. A lot of people think of these only as B2C when you're selling to customers, bring a friend and save $5, that kind of thing. But they really do work in the aviation industry, and they really do work in business to business situations. So, they're handing out coffee cards to mechanics who turn in tail numbers for aircraft, and then they're contacting those aircraft owners to let them know about Tanis systems. And that's been a successful bounty program. Regular emails. You may not want to do this weekly, but you can do this on a regular basis, depending on the product or service and how involved the customer is likely to be. So, John, you have a router that you just bought, and they've been sending you pretty frequent emails, right?
Well, they send an alert email that tells me when there's an upgrade to the firmware. And not only that, but easy for me to say, a link to click that will actually perform the update for you. And that's just nice.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those out there ever done any IT stuff, that's sure makes it easy.
Exactly. And these little green things.
Don't worry about the complexity of the way this darn thing looks.
Mm-hmm.
All it's telling you is we send out automated, regular emails.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The only thing I want to mention about this, and the reason that it looks complex, is because we can set these timers and set up emails days, weeks, months in advance. So this is something, if you wanted to set up a tip of the week or something like that, you could set it up in one afternoon. You don't have to be available every Monday morning at 9 a.m. to compose and send an email. These systems really make it a lot easier. And this is out of Infusionsoft, which is our CRM system, which we'll be talking about more in another video. But regular emails can really be fairly easy and simple to do. All right, so this is a printed newsletter. Obviously, the slide is not printed, but it is a picture of what is actually printed on a tabloid-sized sheet of paper folded in half. So it looks like an 8.5 by 11, and it's folded again so that it's the size of a large postcard. And this gets sent to VLOG's customers. They have a complex product. They do digital records management, so aircraft logbooks, aircraft maintenance logbooks. And it is not an easy topic. So it's not something that somebody's going to learn everything they need to know about it in one sitting. What that newsletter does is it really helps their customers understand little bits of information in digestible pieces. So they have some really well-written articles. They have some cartoons. They have some bits and pieces. They make sure that they've got their contact information, phone number, and everything else really prominent on each of these. So if somebody's been having a problem with their records management system and it's been bugging them for a while, but they don't remember where to call, they get this newsletter in the mail and it reminds them. And they may learn something. So it's helpful. All right. We also talked about social media contacts and conversations. You should be connected to every one of your customers and prospects and partners and everything else on at least LinkedIn. This is Brian Chase, who's a friend of ours and colleague. But what you do, basically, or what we do as part of our process is when someone requests information from us, we go ahead and connect with them on LinkedIn. That does two things. One, they start getting our updates, when we publish them on LinkedIn. And number two, it gives us a lot more information than we had before about what they're doing. It gives us a notification if they change jobs, if they post an update, other kinds of things like that. So there is no excuse for not knowing your customers very well and knowing that they left the company 6 months ago or something like that. In this day and age, you should really have that information. And that also makes your customers feel better about you because you know them very well. Greeting cards. Not very many people send greeting cards anymore, like physical, actual, in the mail, in an envelope with a stamp.
Yeah, they try to do it on I don't know, Yahoo or somebody like that, make it electronic, and I just delete those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about a real live honest-to-gosh card that we really like. And, the demographics of the aviation industry are like John.
Well, I have a dual reason for that,
Mm-hmm.
Not the least of which is if you're too lazy to send me a real card, then don't worry about it. But secondly, and maybe primarily, it's an excellent way to get a virus on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not going there. I don't know any of these companies they use.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening.
Right, exactly. And the dancing cats don't really do much for you.
No.
Right, that's just not the right demographic and not the right tone that most of our customers want to set. Most of our clients want to set with their customers. So we really do advise sending real live honest-to-gosh cards. There are ways to make that easier, but real cards are good. Another thing is direct mail. And this is actually from a Halloween mailing that we did. You can see all the Halloween candy in the background. But, basically you can use any holiday or event or anything else to send something just to show, we're thinking about you. And also, here's something that you may not know that we do. Did you know that we also do ad pre-flights? Or did you know that we also do this other service that you're not currently purchasing? So you can take a list of your customers and subdivide it by the people who are buying product A versus product B and cross-promote those using some of these holidays. And they don't have to be expensive. These little boxes cost about, I think, $5.05 U.S. postage within the U.S. And of course, if you're somewhere else, then you have to find that out. And you can fill them with just about anything. Candy is cheap. Coffee is good. There's lots of things that you can put in here. CDs, DVDs, USB drives, the little tchotchkes that people always have at the trade shows. We think they're a lot more effective to use in direct mail when people are not expecting it. They don't have to drag it home from the show. Here they're getting it at their desk, and they're more likely to keep it and use it. What a concept. All right, so other videos in this series, using surveys to get testimonials, we talked about that. Using your CRM in phase 3, customer appreciation events, and we'll be talking about referrals and bounties in our live discussion on Wednesday. So thank you very much for joining us. We're really happy that you were here, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Have a great day.
You know you could.